couple of quick instructions. All attendees will be on mute. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your control panel. We can discuss them at the end. Feel free to participate in the post-session survey. Now let's get started. The world is becoming increasingly digitized and huge amounts of data is generated every second. Organizations acknowledge the value of this data and are using more tools to capture it, but they fail to harness the potential of this data. So why does this happen? So whenever we speak of harnessing the potential in data or becoming more data driven, most people start imagining about creating charts with analytics and dashboard tools. But is your data ready for analysis? Are we forgetting something here? Is your data structured properly so that your dashboard tool can extract the best insights out of it? Yes, that's the topic of our discussion today. The better your data is structured, the easier it is to manage. This step 0 ensures that all your data is in the apples to apples format you need for analysis. So today's agenda, we'll discuss the common challenges in data management, the Zoho Creator solutions for each of those challenges, and then a 3-step formula to achieving data quality with Zoho Creator. That will be a live demo by Sukanya. So why is business data hard to manage? Business is a team sport and there are many people involved generating data in different formats. Some might send spreadsheets, some might send PDFs, or some may even mail you the information in line. So when data is not in a standard format, it is difficult to synthesize it into useful information. Unless you have a really unified approach and have connected all types of data, it will be difficult to manage your data. And also, the data collected will have errors, some information might be missing, and they won't be using the same terminology to describe information. The third challenge is a tricky one, finding the balance between security and sharing. This has always been hard, and companies fear that if they democratize data access to their employees, they might compromise on their security. How to overcome these challenges? So we show you how to overcome these challenges with Zoho Creator. In Zoho Creator, you can define the way information is arranged. We have a drag and drop interface with over 30 information types, so you can build a well classified data model. Next, we offer a unified data model. So what does it mean? If you're following a siloed data model, data will be stored in disparate buckets and they won't have any correlation between them, which means it's too much work for you later because you won't be able to derive any insights from it and you should invest time and money in setting up integrations. But a unified data model acts as a common repository for all your data. So you can create multiple applications for different departments on Zoho Creator and they all will share the same database, which means you can look up and populate data across forms and applications without duplication or additional integration. You can create one application and share the same with all the stakeholders. For example, if you're running a grocery management app, you can share the same application with your customer, showing only those details which are relevant to them. You can enable them to new orders, check the orders which are ready for delivery, and view all the past orders. And when you're sharing the same application with the store manager, you can enable him to add products to the application. He can maintain the inventory. He can go through the catalog. He can purchase if something goes out of stock. This is the visibility mode of the application owner or the store owner. The store owner can view revenue reports by products, by salesperson, the monthly sales reports, the monthly expenses. A customer need not have access to all these reports to have access to the inventory of the store. He just has to place an order. So that's how you can create roles and add and assign the specific visibility for those roles. We'll look at it deeper in the demo. So the next thing would be validating data right at the time of collection. Instead of manually checking for errors, sending it back and following up for updates, you could automate validation right at the time of collection. If the data entered doesn't match the criteria specified, the form won't get submitted at all. So that is one special feature of Zoho Creator. Apart from unified data model, we have a lot more built-in tools for data management, like audit trails where you can see who had access to what data and when, how did the data change over time. You can restrict entries by IPs, location. You can circulate the form as a link or embed them on your website or Facebook. You can also schedule periodic backups to prevent data loss, and you could also encrypt sensitive data. So now Sukanya will demonstrate all that we discussed as a three-step formula to achieving data quality.
Thank you, Rudra. Rudra, can you just give me the control?
Have you got it?
Yes, Rudra. Thank you so much for that.
Okay.
Hi everyone, this is Sukanya from Zoho Creator Team, and today I will be demonstrating you on how to achieve data quality inside Zoho Creator. So this is going to be a demo session for you. So before going into that, first in this session, we are going to first look into standardizing the data structure. Inside Zoho Creator, right? So, data collection plays an important role in any application development, right? So, inside Zoho Creator, data collection is done through forms. So, in order to design a form, we provide you a drag and drop builder. So, you have to just drag and drop the necessary fields in order to collect the information that is required to run the system. So, if you want to design an application, first you have to visualize the concept of the application and then convert it to an application. So let's take an example of a Zilker order management tool for this demo session. So what are the different forms we would require in order to manage our orders? So first we would require a product form where we will be adding the products and updating the products. Then we would require an items form where we will be adding the items that our customers are going to purchase, and also we will be entering the quantity there, and also we will be calculating totals. And then we would require order form where you will be booking the orders, and also we will be notifying the customers. So this would be a basic order management application, right? So first we should decide upon the different forms that is going to play an important role here. So once a form is designed, then we have to decide upon the different fields that we would be having inside a form. So if you take a product form, we will be having the product name and the price of the product. Then, if you take an items form, we would have the product name, the quantity, as well as the subtotal. So, we will be calculating the quantity into price and capturing that as a subtotal. Then, we would have an order form. In that, first, we have to give an order number. Then, we are going to collect the information about the customer. Then, we are going to capture the items that each customer is going to purchase. Then, we will be having a grand total. So, the first step is to design the form, and then the second step is to have the fields inside the form. So once you have done this, next step is to create a relationship between these forms. For example, the product name from the product form should be there in the items form, right? So only the product that is available in the inventory can be selected by the customers. So we are creating a relationship between the product and the items form using a product name. So this is what we call inside Creator as a lookup. So lookup is used to create a relationship between two different forms. Then after the items form is created, it is linked to the order form as a subform. So subform means, for example, for one customer, they can select multiple products or buy multiple products, right? So that's where we will be having like a one-to-many relationship here. So once we have created this, let's see the demo of how this is going to work. So first, I'm going to create a new application here. So I'm clicking on new application. So I'm going to click on create from scratch. I'm going to give a name for this, Zilker Order Management. Whatever name you want, you can just give for this application, and you can click on create. So once you create an application, here form acts as a table for us. So this is the place where we are going to create the form. So you have to click on create new form, right? So we have different ways to create a form. Either you can select a blank form, or you can import with data, or also you can select from the different templates that we have. For example, now I'm clicking on import with data. I'm clicking for local storage. If you already have the data with you, and if you want to create a form, you can just drag and drop the file here, and this is automatically going to create a form here for you. So for many of the organization, we would be already having the forms, right? Or maybe we would have in the Excel format or CSV or TSV format. In that case, you can just drag and drop it, and it's going to automatically create a form. First, you have to make sure that you map it to the necessary field type. Field type is the data type that you could refer to any database application. So, for example, products will be a string one, right? So I'm selecting that as a single line field. And the price, you can either have it as a numeric value or also a currency value. So currency, again, you can select the type of currency in which you're going to store. I'm going to store it in USD, so I'm selecting that. So these are some of the validation that you need to do before importing the data inside Creator. I'm clicking on Create, and this will automatically create a form for me along with the data. So it will just take 1 or 2 minutes. So once it's ready, the data is imported for us, and you can click on Access this application. Now, if you could see, the first form, that is the product form, is ready for us. Now we have to create the second form, that is the items form, right? Again, you can click on this plus icon, and you can click on form, you can click on blank form. I'm going to give this a name as items, create form. Here in the items form, if you could see, we are referring to the product name from the product form. So inside Zoho Creator, we have multiple fields here. So name, email address, address field, phone number fields are some of the basic fields. If you want to collect some string values, you can go with single line. And if you want to have like large characters to be collected, you can go with a multi-line. We also have number fields here to collect the numeric data. You can have a date field, time field, and also drop down field is available where if you want to have multiple choice options, then you can go with drop down, or multi-select is also there. For example, gender calculation or gender, if you want to capture, you can go with a radio button. We also have checkboxes here. Apart from this, we also have some advanced fields where you can capture the data. So we have rich text field. We also have URLs, percentage, currency can be captured. So we have this lookup field, subform fields, where if you want to capture one-to-many relationship, you can go with subform. If it's going to be one form data, if you're going to pull to another form, you can go with lookup field. You can also upload signatures. You can have file uploads, audio, video files. You can use formula fields. We also have auto number fields where you can generate or numbers sequentially for each record that you're going to put in. Then we have special fields where you can perform integrations, you can tag a user for a particular record, you can have multiple sections within the form, or you can also add notes. And some of the AI fields are also supported here, where you can have predictions can be made, you can extract the keywords, you can do some sentiment analysis based on the string that you give. Then we also have OCR feature, that is, if you upload an image, the text from the image can be extracted through that. We also have object detection. So these are the various fields that we have inside Creator, and you have to choose the right field in order to standardize your data. So for now, I want to create a relationship between the products form and the items form. So I'm just double clicking on this lookup field. Now I have to create a relationship. So you can click on new relation. So it will show up the different relations that you can create. So from the product form, I'm pulling out the products. So I have to first select the form name, then I have to select the field name, because I'm going to pull out all the products that is available in my store and I'm going to display it for my customers. So I'm just pulling up the products form, the product name. So I can also name it as item name or whatever name you want, you can just give it. Then after that, we have the quantity and subtotal. So quantity. So quantity can either be a numeric field or a currency field. So in my case, oh, sorry, it can be a numeric field. So I'm just going to drag and drop a number field here. So I'm going to name this as quantity. Then the next one is a subtotal. Subtotal can either be of a numeric field or of a currency field. So let me have a currency field here. So this should have the calculated value of price into quantity. And I can select the currency type here. So I wanted to have it in USD and I have selected that. So we have created the product form and the items form. Next is the order form. So order form is a place where our customers are going to log in and they are going to place the order. So I'm going to click on the plus icon. I'm going to click on forms. I'm going to click on blank form. So this is going to be the order form or order details form. You can name in whichever way you want. So I'm creating this. So The first field, if you could see, is the order number field. So we need to have something that auto generates itself. So as I was explaining the fields, I told something about the auto number field, right? So this automatically increases the value. You can also write codes to do some prefix or suffix operation for each number that we generate. So I'm going to have this as order number. Then I have to collect the basic information about my customer. So I'm going to have a name field. You can also rename this here, the customer name. Then I'm going to collect the email address, the address to deliver the products, and also the phone number. So these are the basic fields that I'm going to collect for the customer information. So I have collected the customer information. Now I'm going to create a relationship between the items and the order form. So this is going to be a subform. As I told you earlier, subform is used to create one-to-many relationship. That is, for one order number, we are going to create multiple child entries here. So I will click on this subform and I will be selecting the items here. Done. And you can name this item details or whatever name you want. You can just give it up here. And then I have to have a grand total. Grand total, again, it can be a currency field or a number field. For now, I'm taking it as a currency field. I'm calculating that as grand total. That's it. We have created all the three forms that is necessary. Now, when you click on access this application, it will take you to the live mode of the data. So this is the live mode of the application. So we have the product form ready. Since we imported with data, all the data is also displayed here. Then we have the items forms ready, and now the order form. So we have all the order form details captured here. If you could see, as I said, this is a subform. So for each order, you can have multiple line items. So you can select whichever item you want from the different products that we offer, and you can select it. Then you can enter the quantity and all the information. Then the subtotal workflow, if you write, it is going to automatically calculate the total for you. You can give a name for this, right? And you can submit this information. So once you submit this information, we have the all orders report where you will be able to see the information that you have collected. I also see in chat session someone has asked about how to see or pull the data from the subform to the reports. So you can click on edit this application here. Detail view, you can click on this and you can select the second view here. So you can have all the related blocks here. So order form or the items form is a related block. So once you click on this right and click on access this application, on click of the record, you will be able to see all the subform details as well. So whatever quantity that you have added, everything will be displayed here. So this is how you will be able to create a form and create or establish a relationship between the forms inside Zoho Creator. So the next topic is validating the data at the time of collection. As I said before, it is always important to make sure that we have the right fields in place. And also later stage, if you want to go and validate instead of this grand total and currency field, if you want to change something else. So each field, right, has its own property. So you can change the appearance. So either to decimal or percentage, you will be able to change it. So it's always important to validate all the data that you have inside your form. If you feel like certain fields are important for you and certain fields are mandatory values, inside Zoho Creator, we have field level validation as well as form level validation. So if the customer name is a mandatory field, you can click on this validation check as a mandatory field. If you feel the email address, there should not be any duplicate values, you can always check on no duplicate values. And if it's a mandatory one, you can click on this mandatory option. So what happens is that when you do some wrong entry or when you type in the mandatory field or submit the form without a mandatory field, right, it will throw you an error. Like this field is mandatory, enter value. This field is mandatory. And again, the duplicate values check can also be done here. If you give a value that is already existing, again, it will throw you some field level validations for you. So it's always important to check which are the fields are going to be a mandatory field. And during the creation of the form itself, make sure all the validations are done right. As I said, each field will have its own property based upon your requirements. You can enable and disable the things. So for email address, if it's going to be something through QR code or barcode, if you're going to scan, you can always enable the properties here. Again, the appearance and all the field level properties can be taken care of. Apart from this, we also have form level properties. So if you click on the setting options here, that is the property options, you can click on this, and we have multiple validations. So you can capture the IP address, you can capture the location, you can also send email notifications through this. So for after each order collection, if you want to send notifications, you can click on it, customize it, and send whatever data you want. Maybe the to address can be the email address of your customers. You can configure it and send it out. Then you can also restrict the form entry. So we can enable CAPTCHA to have the bot deductions. Then you can have allow just one entry per user. And again, you can have the restriction for one entry per IP address. You can also enable geofencing. That is, the form will be accessible only within a certain kilometer of radius. You can also disable the form entry, like for example, only 100 entries are allowed for a form. You can validate it by just giving the number of entries here, so that once this particular number crosses, it automatically disables the form. You can also restrict the form availability by specifying the start time and end time. So if it should be accessible only from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m., you can just specify the time here. You can collect the data through email data as well. So if someone sends the data through email, this can automatically come into Zoho Creator, and the appearance can also be changed. So these are some of the inbuilt validations that we have inside the form. So you can make use of it and have different things that you want to have inside your application at the time of creation itself. So apart from validation, the third main thing is to secure the access for multiple stakeholders. So if you take this order management application, we will be having multiple stakeholders who will be accessing the form. So we have to restrict the data visibility, right? So inside Creator, you can define permissions here. You can define what each user of the application should see. Now let's take the stakeholders that is involved in this order management application. So we will be having an admin who will have the super admin access, and he will be able to control all the things inside the app. Then we will be having a store manager. So the store manager will just be able to see the orders and update the product information. And then we have the customer, where the customer will be able to see all the list of products, as well as they will be able to place the orders there. That is, they will be able to see all the list of products that is available inside the system, and also they can place the orders inside the application. So how to configure this? So inside Creator, right, we have two different types of users. If you go under settings, so we have users and customer portal users. So users are the people who have the admin rights, or who belongs to the organization of the super admin. In our case, the store manager is considered as a user. So you can create a permission set for the store manager by clicking on permissions, add permission. So you can give a name for this store manager, and you can give them the access for it. If you give access, view, and edit, they will just be able to see the information that they have added inside the system. But if you go to more, and if you give view all and modify all, then they will be able to see and edit all the information that is present in the system. As a store manager, I have to give him an access to add new products, and also view the products, and edit and delete the products that is present in the system. And also he can have view all and modify all access. So I'm giving this access to him. And also the order, he should just be able to view the orders, and he has to process it. So I'm just going to give him the view all access for the orders form. That's it. I'm going to save it. Now you can come under users, add your users, and tag the store manager, or whatever permission set you want, you can just tag it here. So this is about the user. The next type of user is a customer portal users. So all the people who belong outside your organization are considered as a customer portal user. Maybe your vendors, your customers, your suppliers, everyone is considered as a customer portal users, and you can configure a portal for them. You can click on configure portal. Either you can use the default URL, or you can also map your domain name and you can have it as a rebranded customer portal. So for now, let me use the default URL. And also we have three different portal types inside Zoho Creator. One is a public portal where anyone with the link will be able to join the portal. Second one is a private portal. So only the invited customers of yours will be able to join. The third one is the restricted portal. So only the signups after getting an approval from the super admin will be able to access the portal. For now, let me create it as a public portal. So in this public portal, right, you can just take the public link and you can embed it on your website so that the people can log in through your website and click on the link and access the portal and they can place the orders. So now I'm going to create a customer portal permission. So I will be clicking on this. Again, here I can set up permissions for my customers. So what are the things that he has to see? I will be able to customize here. Here, if you could see, I don't want my customers to see all the orders that is placed inside my system. I just want him to see only the orders that he has placed. So I will be removing this view all access. Again, the items, only the information that he has placed, he should be able to see. I will be removing this view all access and I can update it. We also have authentication, so you can perform SAML authentication where they can log in through that. And you can also customize the login messages that is going to be sent out to access the portal. And we also give you an option to do page customization, like if you want to add your own company's logo, the company name, if you want to add inside the portal, you can also do that. And this is a place where you'll be adding out your customers and you'll be selecting the permission set. We also give you an option to import your customers if it's going to be a private portal. If it's a public portal, you can just copy this URL and you can paste it on your website so that they can log in and they can start using the application. So this is about the users and portal, and this is how you can manage your stakeholders of the organization. So a quick recap. So how you will be standardizing and structuring the data. So you can create forms, you can set up relationship, and you can do that. And for the validation of data, you can set up form rules. You can set up the validation that is already available within the field level, and you can do that. Then managing the stakeholders can be done through creating permission set. You can either add them as user or customer portal user, and you can achieve this. So these are the three steps to achieve data quality. And if you have any questions, you can just feel free to ask me now. So I could see some questions here. So how to create table pivot chart based on normal forms. So Noor Sultan, we have another session that's coming up in the next few weeks where we will be discussing about creation of pivot charts and pivot table. Maybe you can attend that. And also inside Creator, right, we have four important components where form is the first one and report is the second one, where you can see the graphical representation of the data that you have created, and using that you'll be able to create pivot charts here. Can you go over the email form that you mentioned in the form settings? Sure, I can share it with you. So this was asked by Amber. So Amber, if you could see here, inside each and every form, there will be a form settings for you. So let me take the order form. Inside this, if I click on open form builder, there is a form that is form properties here. You can click on this and you can also customize it as per your needs. So if you click on send email notification, right, you can have the from email address. So if it's going to be the admin's email address, you can just click on that. Then the two is going to be to whom you're going to send it. So it's going to be the customer, right? We are going to send out this email about the order confirmation. So you can have the email address here. You can also add few people in CC and BCC, and you can give the subject like new entry added or order confirmation or something. And you can also insert the fields here. So for example, if you want to give like hi customer name, so maybe the first name or last name, you can append it here so that it will be more personalized. And you can add the body of the message, and also you can include the user submitted data, like you can also attach it as a PDF, or you can also have it as an inline content, and you can click on done. So what happens is whenever you make an entry in this form, it is automatically going to trigger an email notification for you. Hope this is helpful for you. So how to autofill a field in a form after selecting a value in lookup field in another form. So auto populating of data can happen through workflows. So you need to write a workflow. If you call if you want to populate a name based on a lookup field value, you have to just call it input dot lookup field dot name. So this will automatically populate the value. So you have to write a workflow in order to do that. So workflow is the fourth component inside Zoho Creator where you can autofill the data. Can we get the complete presentation in soft? Yes, you can get it. So after this demo webinar, we will be sharing the presentation along with the recording and you can refer to that. So if I have, so Mohammed has asked if I have two application and I've added a user in application A, does it require for me to add a user in application B? Yes. So each application user is independent. So if you want to have the user to access both application A and application B, you have to add them in both the applications because the permission set would be different, right? So it's better to add in both the application. If I so Marcos has asked if I made a public portal, how many portal users I have in ultimate plan. So Marcos, by default you get 1,000 portal users in the ultimate plan. If you want to increase, then we have the portal user as an add-on and you will be able to uh, subscribe it and you will be able to use it.
Okay. Sukanya, are we done?
Yeah, we have multiple questions here, but the the demo part is over, right? You can take over.
Okay. So thanks for the excellent demo, Sukanya. There were many positive feedback for you. So organizing makes all the difference when it comes to data. Now it's time for you to structure and organize your data with Zoho Creator. Follow this three-step formula like Sukanya told us and create an effective data management strategy for your business. If you're interested in evaluating Zoho Creator, we are providing you free wallet credits to get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope you found this webinar useful and don't forget to leave your feedback in the survey. Thank you.